Start, though, with one guy who everybody's talking about on your team, Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah.
What a luxury to have somebody like that returning at the quarterback position. What can you say about Jarrett? We didn't see a whole lot from him in the spring game because he was injured, fully recovered. What are your expectations?
Well, we're excited. This is the first time, or really the second time since I've been the head coach, okay, that we have the starting quarterback coming back. So he's a great leader. You know, he's been through the year, and he's been through a season. He knows what to expect. He played his best ball against the best defenses. So high expectations. We're glad he's leading our team.
When you look at Stidham, what's the area he needs to get better at the most?
You know, he's really working on his pocket awareness. That's what he's really focused on the offseason, and then protecting the football in the pocket. You know, but you know, everything else, he can make all the throws. He ran the ball effectively the second half of the season, which really made a big difference. But you know, he's hungry.
Yeah, the question is, are you comfortable running him enough? Because you got to keep him healthy throughout.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and you know, there's strategy that goes with that. But when you play the big games, you know, against the best defenses, you know, you've got to be able to run the football, and he understands that, and he did that towards the end of the year.
You know, talking about running the football, Gus, when you and I had conversations 8 or 9 years ago, one of the first things we talked about was to win in this league, you have to run the ball. You've done it a lot of different ways. You've done it with tailbacks. You've done it with quarterbacks. You've done it with combinations of both. You lost Kerryon Johnson, 4 out of 5 offensive linemen that were starters. What does it look like? What's your plan? Who's the next guy to step up to play to continue that series of being able to run the ball?
You know, if we start today, Cam Martin would be the first guy out there. But, you know, you have to have multiple guys. And we feel like we got a bunch of young guys that, you know, can get the job done. Offensive line-wise, we have a young group, but they're very talented. J.B. Grimes is back, you know, as offensive line coach. I'm very
you have
excited.
a comfort with.
Yeah,
Great
there's
level
no
of
doubt. You know, we led the country in rushing in 2013. He was our offensive line coach.
I don't think you threw the ball that year, actually, did you?
Yeah, we threw it a little bit.
Like
I mean, Nick Marshall threw it. Yeah, we
like
threw it
3 times.
Yeah.
You didn't have to.
We didn't have to.
Y'all were that good.
But, you know, we got a young, a very talented offensive line group. I'm very excited about that group. And I you know, really feel that each game they're going to get better. And bottom line, we're going to run the football. And like you said, to win in this league, you've got to be able to run the football effectively. And when people know you need to run the football.
Coach, I see your new AD down there, and you can't blame him for what I'm about to ask you, but 2 years ago you ended the season against OU. Last year you played Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia, so you pretty much bookended everyone that matters. And this year you start with Washington, and you have trips to Georgia and Alabama. Who in the world have you ticked off?
Yeah, hey, that's a great question. You know, we're going to have one of the toughest schedules again. You're exactly right. You know, Washington starting out, and then you get in the West, and our crossovers Georgia. You know, last year we were about that close, you know, from being a team that the 2-loss team in the Final Four. And this year will be no different. It's just as tough.
Well, I tell you what, when you think about that rivalry with Auburn and Alabama, and you think about watching it every year, when you look at Alabama and you look at 2 new coordinators coming in for them, how do they continue to rebuild it like that with Nick Saban? I mean, as we sit back and marvel at it, but you're a coach that has to go against it every year. What do they do over there that's different than you think everybody else?
Well, they recruit better than anybody. You know, they're going to have the best
that
players.
works.
I mean, it's pretty simple as that. And, you know, when you play against them, they're going to have the best players, you know, that you play against all year. And you know that. But,
you guys do pretty good against them.
Well, at the end of the day, you know, you've got to be able to match up front. You know, defensive line and offensive line. And when we beat them, we've done that. And, you know, last year that was a big key to our success against them.
You know, Kevin Steele came over a couple years ago, and it was interesting because the last time most people saw him was the Clemson-West Virginia game when West Virginia put up 70. And he's really changed that defense. What has he done so well up front with you guys?
Kevin's a relationship guy. I mean, he gets really close to players. They play extremely hard for him. He's really kept things simple and let our guys play. And, you know, he's done a super job, and it really fits, you know, with what we're trying to do at Auburn.
It's been awesome.
Continuity, Gus. Continuity of coaching staffs. It matters. People don't realize how much it matters. You've been able to do that. You lost one guy. You lost Herb Hand right now, but you replaced him with J.B. Grimes. But for the most part, the lion's share of your staff has stayed together, and obviously it looks like it's paying dividends for you. How have you done it?
No doubt. Stability in our league this time, you know, is very rare. And we're a very stable staff. Like you said, we got everybody back but one coach. You know, it's the recruiting. I mean, it's really starting to pay off as far as that goes. And really, that's going to be a big part of our success moving forward, just the stability of a coaching staff, because you don't see it very much, you know, against the teams we play.
Okay, how about stability with your quarterback, who I think got engaged?
Yeah.
Does that matter? What do you think about that?
You know,
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you would ask that question about that.
Well,
You know, he's been pretty
interested.
serious, you know, with Kendi for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
got a great family, and so we're very happy for Jarrett. I mean,
How many times have you been asked that question, Coach? That's got to be a first.
yeah, that's a first.
Okay,
Listen, hey,
that's
that's
first.
you made
That's
history.
what we do here
Yeah,
on SEC
yeah,
Nation.
there's
We
no
ask
doubt.
you different questions.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being with us, Coach. We'll be
Yeah.
tuning in on Thursday to see
Yeah.
you at the podium. And
And he's going to give
of course-
Stidham free marital advice.
Yeah, he'll be back, so you
Yeah.
can ask him.
Listen, you
ask
have
him.
a wonderful marriage, so you could give him free marital advice.